Underinsuring property is one of the most common mistakes that small business owners make. And it's easy to see why. The limit of coverage is directly related to the cost of the premium. So sometimes there's this tug and pull where they're like, well, I don't want to necessarily insure it at this number because my premiums are going to go higher. But at the end of the day, if you don't have enough insurance, there is a clause on your policy that says there will be a penalty at the time of a claim, meaning you're not going to get what you expected at the time of a claim. Not to mention, if you underinsured, you're not going to have enough to rebuild your building. These are the things we kind of see on the news where people are like, the insurance company didn't give me enough. Reality is most small business owners aren't insuring the limits properly. So make sure you're talking to your agent about understanding what the replacement costs are so that you will get exactly what you need to put your property back in place. Businesses aren't static things, but we only ask the question from an insurance agent's perspective about once a year about, hey, how is your business doing? If you don't let your insurance agent know during the year that you bought another vehicle, that you bought another property, that you have more employees, that things are going on that have higher risks or that you might be responsible for if they were to get damaged, you might be underinsured at the moment that you have a loss. So making sure that there's communication with your agent anytime you're making changes in your operations will help you make sure you have the coverages you want and need at the time of a loss. With the growth of the gig economy, this is probably one of the things that we are constantly talking with our personal business owners. And by that I mean people who are running a business out of their home. They think that their homeowner's insurance policy and their car insurance policy will cover them while doing their business operations. But the reality is that both of those policies, homeowners and personal automobiles, specifically exclude any business operations. So if you don't notify them about your business operations and/or purchase coverage for your business, you're going to find yourself paying for those lawyers and paying for that property out of your own pocket. Personal policies do not mix with business policies. They are separate and not equal. So you want to make sure that you have a little bit of both and that everyone knows what's going on to make sure you have the coverage you need to keep your at-home business going. Policy lapses cost you much more than just a lapse in your coverage. Obviously, having a claim denied because your coverage lapse is something that would be devastating, but something you likely expect if you decided to let your insurance go. But if you think that you can let your insurance go for a day or two and that you'll be able to come back and everything will be fine, that is completely wrong. There is no such thing as a grace period. Anytime that there is a policy lapse, you have put 100% of the power in the insurance company's perspective, and it is now their choice, their ability to either reinstate coverage or to offer another policy. And that policy could end up being more expensive or have worse terms than the policy you just let go. So do not let your policy lapse unless you know that that's going to be the decision going forward. Employment practices liability insurance. And I say it out like that because most small business owners have never really heard all those words put together. They know to buy general liability insurance if a customer falls down, or workers' compensation if an employee gets hurt. But what happens if you get sued because a prospective employee says you didn't hire them because of their race, color, or gender? What happens if two employees, while working together, say accuses another one of misconduct and sues you for not providing a proper atmosphere to be able to stop that kind of thing? Neither the workers' compensation or the general liability policy are going to protect you, only EPLI. So make sure that as you're going through your coverages, that you talk to your independent agent about employment practices liability insurance so that you can have protection against those lawsuits that often come from within.